as medical schemes prepare for 2026, contribution increases, benefit adjustments, and member value remain key discussion points. I'm speaking to Lee Kalakapan, Principal Officer at Bonitas, to share the scheme's pricing increases, benefit design changes, and the challenges facing medical schemes in the current very interesting environment. Welcome, Lee, and it's great to catch up.
Good morning, Renette, and thank you for having me on your platform.
It is an absolute pleasure. Lee, let's start. Can you please give me a high-level overview of your increases in contributions for 2026?
Renette, thank you. I think before answering that question directly, just to step back and consider what the problem statement is that we have when it comes to contribution increases. When schemes, which is not for profit, being Bonitas, has to consider its contribution increases, we have to consider obviously what CPI is, because that prescribes in terms of where the cost will be going, but more so in relation to medical schemes and healthcare related products. One has to also factor in terms of what is the healthcare cost in terms of services and products that our members and patients will experience. And of course, because schemes are very uniquely designed from a regulatory perspective, and it's an open enrollment approach where there's no risk rating associated with it. We also have to consider in terms of what is the aging that the scheme will experience through its membership, and what type of utilization will they have to cost in terms of catering for future healthcare needs. Now, with Bonitas being the second largest open medical scheme, looking after just over 700,000 South Africans, we have to carefully balance this with our actuarial calculations, considering our membership profile. And further to that, one of the other aspects that is key is that we know that the burden of disease is increasing, lifestyle diseases are increasing, and to that end, we have to act responsibly when actually costing for our contribution increases. We've taken a philosophy over the years in terms of being consistent to ensure that we speak to the needs of the healthcare components that I've spoken to, but more so in terms of what do our members need, because they are under financial pressures, affordability-wise. And to that end, we've been very consistent. We don't want to be the cheapest. We don't want to be the most expensive. We actually want to respond to what our members need. And to that end, our contribution increases compared to 2025, as what we know, contribution increases over the last number of years have been reasonably high, much higher than CPI. Yeah. And this year around, and looking into the future, it will be more moderate. So our contribution increases average around 8.8%, with some of our options where we've seen better aging coming into the scheme, better utilization, being as low as 6.9%. And that enables us still to attract younger members, but still maintaining our responsibility to provide access to quality healthcare for our members, the 700,000 South Africans that has chosen Bonitas.
Quickly, before we go over to maybe some of the exciting new benefit changes you've brought in, what do you see in terms of age, especially around the younger people? We know what the older people do. They stay as long as they can, right?
Yeah. So to that end, we took a strategic decision a number of years ago, and it aligns to our purpose and our intent, is that it should be a scheme that caters for all life stages, and we're a scheme for South Africans. And to that end, as much as age is a critical factor as part of these contribution increases, Renette, key for us was to be able to respond to the needs of younger people. And we have seen in terms of our aging profile that we are able, through our benefit enhancements, our new age products, how do we leverage technology to attract young and healthier members into the scheme. So our average age is just below 40, which is quite reasonable and acceptable for us at this particular stage. But we can do so much better in terms of ensuring that all younger people actually access healthcare. It actually provides credence to the intent of the scheme, and that is to provide universal healthcare for all South Africans.
So maybe some of those innovations on how to attract the younger people will come into benefit changes. So tell me about the benefit, some of the exciting stuff that you guys have worked on.
Yeah. I think, Renette, first of all, just to take a step back in terms of what informs, what benefits, and what enhancements do we have to give to our members. At the end of the day, I hear so many of the industry leaders speaking about the challenges, but is that not our duty of care on behalf of South Africans? So, to that end, what we have deployed through our strategies is understanding our members, understanding their needs and their wants, and being able to educate and guide them in relation to the onset and the burden of disease that the world and South Africans are experiencing. So we have deployed, and we were very mindful in terms of how we repositioned the scheme around the value of data, the value of understanding the consumer. And to that end, through extensive data models and utilizing our actuarial capabilities as well as technology, that becomes the center of what informs how we need to respond in deploying our capability in executing the services to our members. And that also speaks to the heart of the type of benefits that we needed to introduce and the new options that we needed to introduce with the consumer, our member, at the center of all of it. So in answering your question in terms of what have we introduced for 2026, I'm very excited to say that we are introducing Boncore, which is a new option, which traditionally for the younger consumers or younger South Africans, they look for a hospital plan. But this option is quite innovative in terms of that it doesn't only cater from a hospital perspective, but it will also have day-to-day funding. What is also more exciting, and we know that technology and our phones is central to how we behave and how we live our lives. So Bonco also is digitally enabled, so younger consumers and even the older ones can utilize technology to access their hospital plans, their day-to-day funding, and that improves the quality of healthcare for younger people. And also, it's very well priced because we appreciate it's a price sensitive market, medical schemes, but at the same time, not compromising the high standard of care that we advocate for our members. A second component that's also very exciting and responding to our members informed by our data is that we have restructured one of our options and we introduced in Bond Prime this year. This was a traditional plan historically with no medical savings. So we've restructured and it's subject to the Council of Medical Schemes approving it. And we've added now a 16% medical savings to that account, which allows the members on those options to cater for their day-to-day benefits that they require. Further to that, also, one of the exciting things, and coming back to probably 5, 6 years ago, one of the key aspects when we speak about universal healthcare was to speak to preventative and primary care benefits. But importantly, there one needs to understand what is your status. Screening and knowing your healthcare position is important. And we introduced Benefit Booster a number of years ago, and that has been leading a market trend that I'm seeing coming forward from other schemes. But more importantly, what Benefit Booster is, it unlocks additional pools of funds for you. So not paid from your current savings or from the risk benefit, to enable people to have access to better day-to-day benefits, to cover for those eventualities of medication that may not be covered as part of their option, or consultation or blood test or physio, those aspects that doesn't traditionally form part of a benefit structure. And Benefit Booster is just an enablement of allowing members, the consumer, to understand their healthcare status, but being rewarded in the right way to pay for their healthcare needs. But further to that, our wellness screening, our mental health programs, high-risk beneficiary programs, diabetes management has always been part of our DNA and our fabric as a scheme. And we've continued to critically look at those and to see how do we enhance it to get better value for our members. I can go on for probably another 10 minutes around it, Renette, in terms of sharing it, but I would encourage our members to consult our website and look at the exciting benefits that we've got in store for 2026, which has been consistent in our healthcare pathways that we've designed for our members over the last number of years of unlocking value for them while ensuring that the scheme remains financially stable and sound.
Sitting here, sorry, Emily, I'm sitting in Hollard's building and they're popping in here, so I think I'll just cut this out. I think we'll be fine. Um, you seem like one of the leaders in the medical scheme space, and it's really exciting to hear about all this stuff. But we have touched on the fact that there are challenges, and it's okay.
Mm.
But what are the biggest challenges for you as a scheme these days?
Net, yes, we see those as opportunity in relation to just how the operating environment is. I think the key challenge is what I touched on earlier on, and to summarize it, it's twofold. One, it is the affordability and economic pressures that South Africans at large is facing. If one considers in terms of what has been happening over the last number of years from a economic perspective and what the amount of disposable income is for South Africans. Clearly, with medical aid being a grudge purchase, we need to ensure and be mindful around the cost of medical aid and the affordability pressures that members are experiencing. The second component for us is to ensure that our scheme remains sustainable financially, to ensure that we cater for future healthcare cost for our members. Because as what we saw a couple of years ago with COVID, and I don't want to venture into that direction, but we do not have a crystal ball of what we face. And to that end, we need to be able to cater and be prudent to cover those eventualities that occurs. The third component around it is the onset and the burden of disease that I spoke about. And things such as we are in a mental health crisis right now, and our members are experiencing it. And one must see it within the broader system. And if one applies systems theory, you have to appreciate the interrelated aspects that influences the challenges that schemes are facing and Bonitas is facing, and how do we turn them into opportunities. And to that end, as I mentioned, we've years ago adopted the philosophy that we are not just a funder and catering around sick care. We are proactive, understanding in terms of what preventative care benefits our members are required, encourage them through knowledge, experience, empowering them through wellness screenings, not only them, but also employer groups, because they've got a critical role to play in the human capital space to ensure that members understand the current healthcare status to contribute productively towards society and their families. So we continue to invest in proactive care, understanding life stage benefits, because we all need different benefits at different stages of life, regardless whether you're young, starting a family, or you're at the retirement stage and at onset of the burden of disease is increasing. So our wellness programs and challenging or responding to these challenges at a systemic level and considering the interrelated elements can help to moderate this crisis and challenges that normal South Africans are facing.
You mentioned a medical scheme is a grudge purchase. I think it's a grudge purchase until the day that you really, really need it, and then you realize that it is most certainly a have to and not a grudge purchase.
Yeah.
Lee, you have not mentioned NHI. Is that something that's luring in the back, or is it something that you're not really at this stage worrying too much about?
I think it should be a concern, and as proud citizens, um, we should be actively participating in the conversations, Renette. I think yes, there's a lot of critique and criticism, and equally so from a scheme perspective, we are very concerned in relation to NHI. However, with that said, and I alluded to it in my earlier responses, we fully support the intent of universal healthcare. Healthcare and access to it should be a universal right, and as we know, it's embedded in our constitution. It comes back to how we go about approaching it. So is it a concern for medical schemes and for Bonitas? Most definitely. But we believe through collaboration and finding means and ways to allow the implementation of universal healthcare is a critical component. The current concerns, of course, is in relation to how it will be implemented, the concern around how it will be funded. These are key and critical concerns that remain part of our everyday decisions as a medical scheme. But with that said, we do not have to just be critical and criticize at this point in time. There's some active steps that we can take as medical schemes on behalf of our members. By way of example, participating in the conversation in terms of being able to ensure that we offer preventative and primary healthcare benefits for South Africans, steps that we took a number of years ago. Our participation in terms of collaboration with the public sector. How do we build human resources and physical infrastructure to allow South Africans to get the quality of care that they require? And Bonitas, through partnership of Gift of the Givers, have been collaborating with universities to afford bursaries to medical students so that we can empower and build the human capital in South Africa. Those are some of the proactive steps that we can take. With that said, we remain as a scheme still very concerned around certain healthcare reforms that needs to be taken to enable more people to get into the public sector, into the private sector, and relieve the burden on the public sector.
100%.
And that's why the mechanisms in terms of how NHI will be implemented is key. But there's immediate steps that can be taken, such as the review of the position of low-cost benefit options, PMBs, etc. All aspects that I do know our regulator is currently working on, but we need to speed up those activities if we are going to safeguard the South African healthcare ecosystem and allow the purpose and the intent of universal healthcare to become a reality in South Africa.
Yeah, I think we can talk for a very long time about this. Let's move to something positive. Lee, our audience, the brokers, the guys who are also vital and critical for you as a scheme. Any last message to them?
Yeah, first of all, I think, we had a sterling year last year and going into this year in terms of membership growth, thanks to a critical stakeholder such as brokers. One of the schemes that really values our brokers, and a lot of our growth has come from the broker industry and specifically independent brokers and new entrants, new brokers that has entered the healthcare system. So to that point, in terms of their commitment and trust that they have put onto our scheme and our brand, we really appreciate what they've done, and they valued and the heart of our mission statement to actually become the medical scheme for South Africans. To that end, I think key for us is that they need to continue the good work of challenging and asking the big questions to medical schemes, but more so the takeaway message around it is that our brand and in terms of our pricing and benefits is very well positioned. We've maintained a very strong financial position, as is evident in our credit rating that has been maintained over the last number of years, not upgraded, but at the higher end, we at a AA+ rating. It reflects our commitment to good governance and sustainability. But also, if one considers how our brand is showing up in the market, our top medical aid for 2025 through the Ask Africa Orange Index, we've been recently recognized as the top 500 best managed care or medical scheme organizations. It just goes on. But this is not our accolades. It's what members are saying and has entrusted us through our performance. And we intend to continue to further our objectives in terms of building the right capacity and capability and holding the entire value chain accountable to deliver access to care that is at an affordable level for the South African consumer in it.
Thank you. A nice, strong message to the broker audience. And thank you for your time, Lee, and good luck for this last stretch.
Thank you very much. Thanks for affording me the opportunity.